Hello everyone, it is me Sasha Kawaii Cat, and in today's video, I'll be designing some beautiful witches. So we are currently in the spooky month of October, and I've decided that I wanted to paint some witches. I'm still practicing my painting, and I decided that I wanted to go with some beautiful witches as opposed to something more spooky and scary. I feel like I might make another video where I do some spooky designs, but for this video, I just wanted to draw some pretty ladies. So for my first design, I decided to do this beautiful sort of blue themed witch. I think initially I wanted her hair to be water, but I ended up changing that, but I think it still looks pretty good. So I had this idea for a character that was more, as I said, more blue themed. So most of the blue is located in her hair. I've mentioned this before, but I tend to use a lot of pink in my work. I'm trying to mix it up a bit by using some different colors like blue and green. But as you can see, I still stuck with some purple. But I think it all worked very well together, so I don't really mind too much. So the first thing I want to talk about is her overall design. So I had this idea, as I mentioned, for her to be like sort of water themed, but really I didn't really stick to that initial idea, but I still ended up giving her sort of blue hair that I think turned out pretty well. I also wanted it to be like space themed, her design, so I added some stars and some moon dangling off her hat, which I thought looked pretty great. I also added some flowers on her hat, which I think they turned out okay. I've always mentioned that I'm not the best at painting flowers, but I have been told that I'm actually okay at it, which, I mean, okay, I'll take the compliment, even though I feel like I still need to improve. But yeah, I think it turned out okay in the end. They look pretty decent, I guess. I'm also really used to drawing characters with like crop tops, and I gave her like a turtleneck. Usually I have characters with a lot of cleavage showing, but I was trying to be more aware of that, so I had her more covered up a bit, even though she's still in like a pretty, I guess, revealing outfit. I feel like it's a little bit more modest, kinda, I guess. But yeah, I really like how this one turned out. I like the overall idea that I came up with, and I think I executed it pretty well. As for the actual painting process, I've mentioned before that I'm practicing how to paint. It's not something I do very often, but I really enjoy painting, and I feel like I'm getting better at it the more I paint. So yeah, for this video I decided that I would paint all the characters. For this painting process, I do remember I had some trouble with her hair. That's something that usually I come up with a style to paint hair and then I'll forget it and I'll have trouble later down the line because I don't paint very often, but I think in the end her hair turned out okay. I also often have trouble painting the skin tone and the structure of the face. I brought like a bunch of books to help me with painting, and I feel like I didn't utilize them. I feel like I only used like one book really to help with this one, and I have like a bunch of other books I can use for reference, so I'm gonna try to use them more so that I can, you know, improve my artwork basically. But all that aside, I do think she still turned out okay. I think my painting looks pretty decent regardless. I'm still gonna continue to practice and hopefully I'll get even better, but I do like how she turned out. I think the character looks okay. The printing process wasn't too bad. Yeah, I had some trouble painting some aspects of this character, but in the end I think it all worked out pretty decently. So yeah, I like how this one turned out. Moving on to our second character. For this character, I sort of went back to the classic purple themed character. As I mentioned, I'm trying not to use too much pink, but I realized that I use a lot of purple as well, and I wasn't really too mindful of that with this character. It's a lot of purple, but I don't hate how it turned out. It feels familiar to a lot of other characters that I've done before, but like I said, I wasn't too mad at the design. So to talk about the actual design for a bit, this one I really stuck to my classic drawing style with this character. She really has a lot of the stuff that I like to draw, like as it pertains to like darker skinned characters. I feel like I often go with purple hair, and like for the witches at least, sometimes I tend to like stick to a certain color pattern and theme, and I feel like going forward I'm gonna try to mix it up a bit. I've been saying that for a while, but I feel like I really want to mix it up. So for the overall design, it's a typical design for me. I gave her this really nice braid that I think looks good and sort of like gradient hair. I had some trouble with the hair, but I think it turned out okay in the end. And I gave her the classic puffy sleeve. I feel like there's some elements of this character that really matches with the first character that I did, and I feel like I could have changed it up a bit, but I mean, I don't hate the design I came up with, I just think I should have mixed it up a little bit. For the actual painting process, as I mentioned, I had some trouble with her hair. It could have really been painted better. I was having a lot of trouble like with the color scheme, with the painting and everything. I didn't really use much references when it came to these designs, and I really think I could have. I didn't really have to like pull from my own imagination as much as I did. I feel like I could have used more references for the flowers and for her outfit, like the folds on her clothes. It's very important to use references for stuff that you're not that decent at drawing, and I didn't really do that with this painting, but it's something useful that you can do. So like her face as well, I didn't really use a reference, and I feel like I should have had a picture of an actual person up and use that as my reference, and I didn't. I mean, I still think she turned out okay in the end, but it could have been done much better, but I still like how she looks. I think she looks very pretty. I feel like I managed to pull it together in the end, and I do like how this character turned out. Like for the actual painting process, I think she looks okay. I think initially I wanted her to be holding like a broom, like a witch's broom, but a flying broom. Whatever, you know what I mean, but it ended up being like a wand, but yeah, I think she still looks pretty cute. I do like how she turned out. I like her makeup. I think the only thing I can say is that I played around with the gradients a bit with like the tone of the drawing. I think I warmed it up a bit too much, but overall I still think it looks pretty good. But yeah, the color scheme I think is a little bit too similar to the other character, and I could have like, I warmed up the colors a bit too much, but I still think it looks okay. Let me know in the comment section if you like this drawing, how you think it turned out, what do you think I could have changed or improved upon. I really enjoy reading your comments, so if you have any thoughts on any of the characters I've drawn so far, you can leave your comments below. Okay, so we're at our final character, and this is where I really started to play around with the colors a bit more. So no purple, no blue, no pink. This character is more like fall themed. I decided to go with a sort of more like orange and green color scheme that I think looks really nice. Again, I didn't really use any reference for this character, and I think I really should have, but I still think she turned out okay. I think initially my idea for this character was just I wanted to draw someone with a lot of freckles. That was my first thought, and I wanted to do someone with sort of a different color scheme than I usually do. As I mentioned, I usually stick to a lot of pinks, a lot of purple, and for this character I didn't want to do that, and I'm glad I didn't do that because I think she looks pretty good. I also didn't give her the typical crop shirt with the big puffy sleeves. I gave her sort of a button up top, some shorts. I do like drawing shorts, and I think it looks really cute. I did have a lot of fun painting her hair. I gave her very curly bushy hair, and I think her hair looks really good as well. This is another character that I think I had a bit of trouble painting certain aspects of her, but in the end I think it still turned out okay. But like her hair, for instance, I feel like I've mentioned this before, but because I don't paint very often, I don't really feel like I have a very solid painting style yet. I enjoy painting, it's very fun for me, but I feel like I really need to continue to paint more so that I can really develop my own style of painting. I do think in the end it kind of looks like I do have a style in a way, because there are some things that are typical to me, and I do have like a regular drawing style that's reflected in the way I paint, but I don't have a consistent way of doing a lot of things. So like her hair, the way I did her hair was a bit different from the process of how I did the first girl's hair and even the second girl's hair. I remember that I did her hair very differently than I did the other one's hair. Like the process just isn't there. I don't have a consistent process, and I feel like I really need to work on that. But overall, I don't think this character turned out, bad. I think she still looks very good. For the actual painting process, I'll say that I really liked the brushes that I used. I do have some main brushes that I typically use for painting. I feel like I'll leave a link in the description. Actually, they're still on my Patreon. I think that's the only thing that's on my Patreon at the moment. Once I get more patrons, I'll add some more tiers. But for now, it's just the custom brushes that I use for Ibispaint X. So if you're interested in those, they're on my Patreon. You can check that out if you want. As for this character, back to the character, I guess. I do remember that at the end I added a bunch of flowers in her hair and I immediately regretted it. I think it was too much. It was over the top. And I do remember that I tried to remove some. But I think at that point I should have just committed. I don't think it matters too much though. As I said, the character still looks pretty decent. But yeah, there's some stuff that I regretted, but I still like how it turned out. Not too happy with how the roses or whatever the flowers in her hair turned out, but I think it still looks good. In the end, I was happy with this character. I do notice that a lot of them have the same type of necklace. I guess I just like painting necklaces like that. But yeah, really like how this character turned out. Please let me know what you think in the comment section below. As I mentioned before, I really enjoy hearing you guys' thought on my artwork. You guys always have nice things to say. If you guys have any name suggestions, you can let me know. So those are all the drawings. I hope you all like how they turned out. I really had fun drawing them, and I do like how they all turned out overall, even if the process was a bit shaky here and there. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like my art and you'd like to show your support, you can always donate to my Ko-fi account or become a patron. The link to that is in the description below. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!